Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Ma. I'm the 2024 Washington State Extemp champion and also I don't know, 8-time finalist or something. Okay, let's get started. So what are the, not 5, but 7 steps to glory in Extemp? Let's get started. First is read a lot of things. Now here's some sources you can read for free, like Politico, Brookings Institution, Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, Center for Strategic and International Studies, and Council on Foreign Relations. Now, if you want to read some paid sources like the New York Times, The Economist and such, you can use archive.is in order to kind of hop the paywall. And don't feel bad because The Economist makes a lot of money. I'm sure they'll be fine. But the reason that reading is so important is it helps you gain a worldview, okay? This is how you learn to make points, basically. Because if you read The Economist or the Council on Foreign Relations, they'll tell you things about international relations, for example. And that's kind of how you formulate, that's how you gain knowledge, essentially. And it's very, very important to Extemp. Now, second is practice speeches. You really need to get started practicing as soon as possible. Even if you don't fully understand Extemp, you just need to get started practicing so you can improve your fluency. And that means you want to be able to speak without pausing or saying or like or skibbity on accident. So basically just starting practice speeches as soon as possible will mean that you can get improving quickly. And once you are really committed, if you ever become committed, you should aim for multiple practice speeches a week, even up to 1 a day. Although probably don't do more than that because you'll get tired. Okay, now the third step is to watch speeches. Now, why did I put this after practice speeches? Is because you don't want to derive your own flavor solely from other people's speeches. You kind of want to develop your own style, right? But in the end, it is still very, very helpful to watch other people's speeches. And there are so many speeches, like on YouTube, for example, on the NSDA website, you can watch national final rounds. And essentially, just by watching speeches, you kind of get more of an intuition for how to speak in Extemp. And it's not that you don't want to speak in a natural tone, it's that there's certain words you want to use that make your speech sound a little bit smarter, right? And if you listen to speeches, that helps you kind of develop that fluency and that style. So watching speeches also helps with substructure, which leads us to step 4. Now, this is basically how you are supposed to structure the points, and this is a little bit more advanced. So that's why I put it as step 4, because if you get into it too early, you might confuse yourself. But once you've started practicing and started watching other speeches, you'll notice that people tend to structure their points a certain way. And having that structure to your points makes it more clear. Even if your judge doesn't know what substructure is, oh, you have the problem and the solution and the impact, they'll get that you're moving from past to present to future, which inherently makes your speech more clear. So once you've done some practice, maybe for a week or 2 or even a month, you can start getting into substructure, just to help elevate your speeches to that next level. Now, step 5 is to get help. Now, if you've done all this, you certainly are at a point where it would be extremely beneficial to get coaching. Now, that's not to say that you can't get help earlier on, but if you've gotten here, you definitely need to get some help. Now, whether it's from your school coach or you ask one of us, or just ask some people at tournaments, it's always great to get help. There's tons of free ways to get really high quality coaching because there's always fellow high schoolers who are willing to help. And at this point, your fluency is probably going to be somewhat decent because you've been doing practice speeches. So your coach will really be able to give you high quality feedback that really elevates your speech to the next level. Not just saying things like, oh, you should pause less, because obviously that's the case, right? Once you get to a higher level, they can tell you things about content, for example, or how to make better jokes, or how to make your delivery more emotional, some of the finer details. And steps 6 to 7 is to repeat the entire cycle in no particular order. And finally, ascend. If you keep on a relatively consistent practice regime and you do all of these things, you will get good at Extemp, and one day you shall rise above the banality of the real world and truly become the Extemp master of Washington. That's it, everyone.